Chapter 1. I was born in Geneva, and my family was one of the most respected in the city. For many years, my ancestors had worked in important government jobs. My father also worked for the public and was known for being honest and hardworking. Everyone who knew him respected him. When he was young, he spent all his time working for his country. Because of this, he did not marry early. He became a husband and father only later in life. The story of how he got married says a lot about his character, so I want to tell it. One of my father's closest friends was a businessman named Beaufort. At one time, Beaufort was rich and successful, but bad luck caused him to lose everything. He was very proud and could not accept living in the same city as a poor man, where everyone had once admired him. So, after paying his debts, he left the city with his daughter and moved to Lucerne. There, they lived in sadness and poverty. My father cared about Beaufort very much. He was very upset that his friend had disappeared. He didn't agree with Beaufort's pride, which made him refuse help. So my father decided to find him and offer his help and support. But Beaufort had worked hard to hide himself, and it took 10 months for my father to find him. When he finally did, he quickly went to his home. The house was in a poor neighborhood near the Reuss River. Inside, there was only sadness. Beaufort had saved a little money, just enough to live on for a short time. He hoped to find work with another merchant. But nothing changed, and as he had more time to think, he became even sadder. After 3 months, he became sick and could not do anything. His daughter, Caroline, took care of him with great love. But she knew their money was almost gone, and they had no way to earn more. Still, Caroline was strong. She found simple jobs like sewing and braiding straw. She earned just enough to survive. Many months passed like this. Her father's health got worse, and Caroline had to spend all her time taking care of him. After 10 months, her father died in her arms. She was now alone and had nothing. Caroline was crying beside her father's coffin when my father arrived. To her, he was like a guardian angel. After the funeral, he took her to Geneva and asked a relative to care for her. 2 years later, they got married. There was a big age difference between my parents, but this made their love even stronger. My father had a strong sense of fairness. He believed that to truly love someone, he must also respect them. Maybe he had been hurt in the past by someone he once loved. So he valued Caroline even more for her goodness and strength. He loved her deeply and tried to make her life as easy and happy as possible. He took care of her like a gardener protects a rare and delicate flower. Her health had been hurt by the hard life she had lived. After they married, my father stopped working and took her to Italy. They traveled through that beautiful country so she could rest and feel better. Later, they also visited Germany and France. I was born in Naples, Italy, and as a baby, I went with them on their travels. For many years, I was their only child. My parents loved each other very much, but they still had so much love to give to me. I remember my mother's gentle hugs and my father's warm smile. I was their treasure, their child given to them by heaven. They knew it was their job to help me grow up well and be happy. Because of this, they were always kind and careful with me. I learned patience, kindness, and self-control from them. My childhood felt like one long moment of joy. For a long time, I was their only child. My mother wanted a daughter too, but no other children came. When I was about 5 years old, we traveled beyond Italy. While visiting Lake Como, my parents often went into poor people's homes. My mother felt this was very important because she remembered how kind people had once helped her when she was poor. One day, when my father went to Milan alone, my mother and I visited a very poor house in a valley. A man and his wife were giving a small meal to 5 hungry children. One child caught my mother's attention. She looked very different from the others. The other children had dark eyes and rough clothes. This girl was very pale, with golden hair and bright blue eyes. Even though her clothes were poor, she looked like a princess. The woman explained that this girl was not her real daughter. She was the child of a rich man from Milan and a German woman who died at her birth. The girl's father had once worked to free Italy from foreign rule, but he had disappeared. He might have died or been put in prison. His land and money were taken, and the baby was left with this family to raise. When my father came back from Milan, he saw me playing with this beautiful girl. My mother told him the story and asked if they could take the girl with them. The poor family loved her, but they agreed to let her go so she could have a better life. They spoke to their priest and decided it was the right thing to do. So, Elizabeth Lavenza came to live with us. She became my best friend, my sister in love, if not by blood. Everyone loved Elizabeth. She was gentle and kind. I loved her very much too. The night before she came to live with us, my mother said, "I have a special gift for Victor. Tomorrow he will get it." When she brought Elizabeth to me the next day, I believed she really was my gift, mine to love and protect. We called each other cousin, but she was more than that. Elizabeth was always by my side, and I believed she would belong with me forever. Chapter 2. Elizabeth and I grew up together. We were almost the same age. We never argued or fought. We were always kind and peaceful with each other. Even though we were different, we got along very well. Elizabeth was calm and quiet. I was more excited and full of energy. But I also loved learning deeply. Elizabeth enjoyed reading poetry and loved the beauty of nature around our home in Switzerland. The tall mountains, the seasons, the storms, the quiet winters, and the busy summers. She admired the world, but I wanted to understand it. I wanted to know why things happened. From a young age, I was curious about the secrets of nature and science. When my little brother was born, he was 7 years younger than me. My parents stopped traveling and settled in Geneva. We had a house in the city and a summer house in Bellerive, by the lake. We usually lived in Belrive, and my parents kept a quiet life. I didn't like being around many people. I only became close friends with one boy. His name was Henry Clerval. His father was a businessman. Henry was very smart and creative. He liked adventure, danger, and heroic stories. He read books about knights and brave men, and he wrote poems and stories. He even made us act in plays about King Arthur and other heroes. I had a very happy childhood. My parents were kind and loving. They gave us freedom and joy. When I visited other families, I saw how lucky I was, and I felt very grateful. Sometimes I was emotional and intense. However, I didn't care about learning languages, politics, or government. I wanted to know the secrets of the world, what things are made of, how nature works, and what gives life to people. Henry liked to learn about people and how they behave. He wanted to help others and become a hero. Elizabeth was like a light in our home. She was gentle and loving. Her kind smile and sweet voice made our home happy. When I got too serious or angry from studying, Elizabeth helped me become calm again. She also helped Henry become even more kind and generous. I enjoy thinking about my childhood before bad things happened. It helps me understand how I became who I am and how my troubles began. My desire to learn started small, like a little stream, but it grew into a strong river that washed away my hopes and happiness. The science that changed my life was natural philosophy, the old word for science. I want to tell you how I became so interested in it. When I was 13 years old, my family went on a trip to some baths near Thonon. One day it rained, and we had to stay inside an inn. There, I found a book by Cornelius Agrippa, an old writer about magic and science. At first, I wasn't very interested, but soon I became very excited. I told my father about it. He looked at the book and said, "Ah, Cornelius Agrippa, Victor, don't waste your time on this. It's nonsense." If my father had explained that Agrippa's ideas were old and false, and that modern science was better and real, I might have stopped reading that book. But he didn't explain anything. So I kept reading and became more interested. Later, I also read books by Paracelsus and Albertus Magnus. Their strange ideas seemed exciting and special to me. I wanted to understand nature's secrets. Even though modern scientists had made many discoveries, I wasn't satisfied. I remembered that even Sir Isaac Newton, one of the greatest scientists, said he felt like a child picking up shells on the shore of a great ocean of truth. The smartest people knew only a little about nature. They could name things and take them apart, but they still didn't understand the deeper causes of life. I was frustrated. But these old writers, Agrippa, Paracelsus, and Magnus, seemed to know more. I believed everything they said and became their student. It may seem strange that someone in the 1700s, the 18th century, could believe such old ideas. But I was mostly teaching myself. My father didn't know much about science, and no one guided me properly. So I began to search for the philosopher's stone, a magical stone that could turn metal into gold, and the elixir of life, a drink that could make people live forever. I didn't care about money. I wanted to cure sickness and make people live without pain. I also believed I could raise ghosts or devils because the books said it was possible. When it didn't work, I thought it was because I was doing something wrong, not because the books were wrong. So, I kept trying, mixing many strange ideas together without clear knowledge. I was full of imagination and hope. When I was 15, we were at our house near Belriff. One night, a terrible thunderstorm came. It came from the Jura Mountains, and the thunder was very loud. I stood at the door and watched the storm with great interest. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning hit a big oak tree near our house. After the flash, the tree was gone. Only a black stump remained. The next morning, we saw it was completely destroyed, like ribbons of wood. I already knew a little about electricity, but that day, a man who studied natural science was visiting us. He talked about electricity and galvanism, the study of electric currents and muscles, and it amazed me. He made Agrippa and the others seem unimportant. I lost interest in my old books. I felt like nothing was really knowable. I gave up my old studies and decided to study math and science because they were more solid and real. It felt like a good change. I felt peaceful and happy, as if something good had saved me from a bad path. I began to believe that my old ideas were dangerous and wrong, and that true happiness came from leaving them behind. But this good feeling didn't last. Fate was stronger than me, and it had already decided my terrible future.